name is Leroy Summers, and today I'll be discussing the impact that peer-to-peer computing has on modern society. Peer-to-peer computing is a form of file sharing that impacts many web users on a daily basis. This form of sharing has become wildly popular over the past several years due to its widespread availability and the fact that it generally doesn't cost a dime. To create this site, I used HTML and CSS. Hypertext Markup Language is the language for describing the structure of web pages. It is also known as HTML, and its uses include giving web designers the ability to publish documents online with video and sound clips, as well as spreadsheets, text, photo, and other applications. HTML allows users to retrieve online information via hypertext links. Cascading Style Sheets, or CSS, allows you to specify things like the font you want on your page, the size of your text, and it basically lets you control the appearance of your web page. HTML and CSS are two of the core technologies for building web pages. To create my banner, I used a cloud-based app called Pixlr. Founded in Sweden in 2008, Pixlr provides a set of image tools and utilities, including a number of photo editors, a screen grabber browser extension, and a photo sharing service. The suite was intended for non-professionals. However, the apps range from simple to advanced photo editing. It can be used on PCs and on smartphones or tablets using a mobile app. I use layers and text to create my banner. Purpose. On this slide, I will discuss the purpose of peer-to-peer computing. A peer-to-peer network is created when two or more computers are connected and share resources without going through a separate server computer. Resources may include, but are not limited to, pictures, music, and video. The peers are equally privileged suppliers and consumers of said resources. The peer-to-peer file sharing that we know of today was started in 1999 when Sean Fanning introduced the music and file sharing application called Napster. Effects and impacts. In this section, I will explain the benefit and/or harmful impacts of the innovation. There are several benefits to peer-to-peer computing. It is easy to install, and so is the configuration of computers on this network. All of the resources and contents are shared by all the peers, unlike server-client architecture, where the server shares all of the contents and resources. Peer-to-peer computing is more reliable as central dependency is eliminated. Failure of one of the peers doesn't affect the functioning of others. There's also no need for a full-time service administrator. Every user is the administrator of his or her machine. The overall cost of building and maintaining this type of network is very cheap. But there are also disadvantages to peer-to-peer architecture over client-server. The whole system is decentralized, making it difficult for administration. The system is less secure, and viruses, spyware, and malware can easily be transmitted. Data recovery or backup is very difficult. Each computer should have its own backup system. Lots of movies, music, and other copyrighted files are illegally transferred using this type of file transfer. In this section, I will explain the impact that the innovation has had on society, economy, and/or culture. Here is a survey that was answered by several of my classmates. As you can see, many participants thought that peer-to-peer computing had an impact on their daily lives. Based on other feedback supplied, the younger the responder, the more likely they were to believe that peer-to-peer computing had a significant impact on their lives. Here I will indicate one field other than computer science which this innovation has impacted or has the potential to impact. As we all know, bad customer service, long-term contracts, and outrageous prices are all terms that are synonymous with cable television. For years, cable providers have stood at the top of the paid TV food chain, but a new trend is emerging. TV viewers between the ages of 18 and 31 are signing up for cable in decreasing numbers. Streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon have supplanted cable as the top trending paid TV service. But they're not the only cause for this decline. The ever-popular peer-to-peer file sharing system called Kodi also plays a big role in the movement, which has been dubbed cord cutting. Cord cutting has a huge impact on cable companies. In the first quarter of 2011, about 84% of all U.S. households were cable subscribers. Despite the fact that household formation in the U.S. has increased, by the first quarter of 2015, the number of cable subscribers had fallen to 80% of American households. A recent study performed by eMarketer believes that by the year 2019, 23% of U.S. households won't be subscribed to any type of cable service at all. The value of media companies could fall by as much as 20 to 60%. In my interview video, I discuss some of the uses, pros, and cons of peer-to-peer computing. Let's take a look.
So Leroy, what are the positive and negative aspects of peer-to-peer computing?
Great question, Andrea. There are many positive aspects to this sharing process. Here are some good uses. Peer-to-peer computing allows participants to act as a server and also a client. This results in the ability for peers to equally distribute media and other types of information to each other. There are also negative aspects to file sharing. Peers are allowed to disseminate copyrighted material without the consent of its creator. There are also trust issues and the possibility of malware being spread. I made this video using a homemade camera slider and a Sony A65 DSLR camera. I added music, transitions, text, and other post-production tools with the editing software Final Cut Pro. I also used my iPhone to shoot video of me using a computer at work. I then took my edited work and uploaded it to YouTube where I published it. Technical impacts. On this page, I will discuss the technical impacts of peer-to-peer computing. When using file sharing services, you want to make sure that your computer software is up to date. You should also stick to legal file sharing services. There are a plethora of services that allow you to stream items that you own or have purchased legally to all of your devices. Be sure to use your computer's security software to scan downloads. Relationship to data. On this page, I will discuss peer-to-peer computing's relationship to data. Spyware can be an unwelcome attachment to that new file you just downloaded. Spyware is a type of malware that is installed on a computer without the knowledge of the owner and can be used to gather information about passwords, keystrokes, and other valuable data. Don't upload or download copyrighted material. Many companies have successfully sued adults and students alike. Sony even took a case to the Supreme Court. Be sure to pay attention when you install peer-to-peer programs and close them when you're finished. Unless your file sharing is work-related, refrain from using peer-to-peer file sharing at work. Again, there are security risks involved in peer-to-peer computing, and it is highly unlikely that your bosses would find pleasure in finding out that their systems were compromised by one of their employees. References. This page contains a list of references that were used to obtain the information that I've given through my website. Link number 3 was probably my most used link to get information. For more information, feel free to visit my website.